Hi, everyone. I have a few things that I like to just say. I have a few things to mention before I get into what I got on here to talk about. Other people like to call this housekeeping. I think that's so stupid. But if that's how you identify this stuff as housekeeping, whatever. I keep forgetting to mention this person, and she didn't ask me to advertise for her or anything. I firmly believe in spreading the word about autistic people, especially when they can do cool shit. So she's an autistic podcast producer, if anybody's looking for one. And so sorry about how I'm going to butcher this name, but it's Mukundwa Katuliba. I don't know if that's the right way to pronounce it. I'm sorry. But the spelling is MUKUNDWAKATULIIBA. And the website is wowowpodcasts.com. WOWOW podcasts.com. Go check it out if you need a podcast producer. The pricing is super transparent, which is like one of my favorite things about it, because how often do you go to websites looking for like what somebody charges and they fucking hide it because they want you to click here and click there, but that doesn't happen on this website. So if you need a producer for podcasts, this is your person. The next thing I would like to say, oh, sorry about the dry mouth. I think I already gave us, hold on. I just got out of therapy, so, if I sound more scattered than usual. This next thing is, this is embarrassing, but I was, until recently, one of those people who firmly believed that if you found yourself in a cult, it was your fault. You got sucked in. You didn't use common sense. Yeah, it's an asshole thing to say, because it is an asshole thing to say. I mean, I know it sounds like that, but I've been that asshole. I've been trying to wrap my mind around this because I am obsessed with cult documentaries. And it's more so I'm obsessed with the actual cult leader and their process of recruiting people. I just think it's so fucking fascinating, and I'm not condoning anything that these cult people do. I just think it's fascinating. But I've had a hard time trying to come to terms with the fact that anybody can get sucked into a cult. And I can happily say that my perspective has changed. And I no longer think that way. And the reason why I no longer think that way is because of, if anybody listens to, or if you don't, you should, there's this podcast called Autism Advocate by Kelsey Cameron. And she did an episode I listened to recently from April 14th of 2024, in case somebody's listening to this episode 2 years from now or whatever. And it's called the specifics of cult psychology. And I don't want to she shares a story about how she got sucked into one, kind of, and I don't want to go into the specifics, because if you want to hear it, I really recommend listening to that episode and all of her other ones. I've never talked to her or anything like that, but I just think that is one of the best episodes I've ever heard on how somebody can get duped by a cult. And the reason I say that is because she is so smart. At least I believe so. She's so smart. Her episodes, the stuff that she talks about, the way she explains things. I love me somebody who can explain stuff in a way that I can easily digest it. And I don't have to sit there and go looking things up. What is this person talking about? So, she's so smart. And so when she did this episode and she described how she got kind of pulled into a cult, I was like, what? Really? But she sounds so smart in these other episodes. And then as she continues to, as the episode goes on and she explains more about her thought process and how really easy it can be for anybody, no matter of IQ level, to get sucked into a cult. It just, I don't know. Sorry for the words, but that is the episode that I completely changed my mind about this now. Because if somebody like her, if this could happen to somebody like her, this can definitely happen to like anybody. And I admit that I was pretty judgmental. And it's something I've been trying to get better at not being over the years. But I should probably reach out and thank her for doing this episode, because number one, like, that is not an easy episode for anybody to do. And the fact that she just kind of put it all out there, I respect the fuck out of that. So yeah, if there's anybody that has the same perspective as I used to have, like, oh, you know, like, you're just kind of dumb if you get sucked into it, listen to this episode that she does. And then, you know, your mind might change like mine did. And then, so moving right along to what I got on here to talk about was therapy. And I'm sorry I keep bringing therapy up. I feel like I mention it like quite a lot, but also it's because it works. And I used to be like a anti-medication, anti-therapy person until like a decade ago. And, I don't know. I just want to give therapy a shout out. So I saw my therapist today. Oh, sorry about this. It's fucking dry mouth. What am I going to do about this? I drink water like all fucking day. Anyways, and tea. And Celsius. And Gatorade. Yes, so I had therapy. And I had 3 things I wanted to talk about. So I asked her if we could skip the EMDR thingy. And I know I've mentioned this before, you know, sometimes, like, I feel like I have to ask somebody the same thing multiple times before it finally sinks into my head and I grasp it. So, for example, like, I don't know, like, I always think that I have to follow the rules no matter what the thing is that I'm doing. And, like, so when I was reading stuff about EMDR, what the process is like, how many sessions, you know, like, I think I have to adhere to it, like, I'm reading that I have to. And so I asked Tia today, I was like, I really need a talk session. Can I do one today? Can we do like half of a talk and half of an EMDR? And she said, like, if weeks go by without you doing an EMDR session in between, like, that's fine. You don't lose any of the benefits and stuff. So I don't know. Like, I've asked her this before, but for whatever reason, now I finally don't have to worry about, like, not following the rules. Does that make sense? Bitchy boo boo. You gonna come say hi? Oh, what'd you say? Oh, quick tangent. Sorry, cats, you know. Well, I'm getting ready to talk about cats, but so Morpheus. We have Morpheus, Caesar, and Xena, aka Bitchy, which is this one right here. And hello, honey. Bitchy's like, what did I say she was? 11, 12 or something? Caesar's 10, Morpheus is 7. So Bitchy is called Bitchy for a reason. This bitch just... She's a very nice cat, but she absolutely does what she wants when she wants to. Like, she will not listen to you for anything. And Caesar is too anxious to, like, follow directions. You know, I'm talking about, like, training cats. So Morpheus is 7, and he, surprisingly, is trainable. And I don't know if I said this before, but now, when I give them their soft food treat every day, I give them like 1 can split between the 3 of them. They think it's the greatest thing, because I'm reverting back to being a lazy cat person who doesn't want to feed their cats soft food several times a day, but so they still think it's a treat. But I have gotten him to where, like, I just stand there and it's up to him to do what he needs to do for not only him to get the food, but for the other 2. So I stand there and I hold the 3 little bowls of cat food, and he sits there, he looks up at me, he does his little twirl, he does his little meow, and then he slowly crouches down to where he's laying down, his paws are out in front of him, and he's looking up at me waiting for his treat. That is so fucking great. Oh my God. I am so proud of myself and him, of course, but I am so proud of the fact that, like, I can train cats. I still got it. Because I'm trying to, like, turn this one into, like, a very loving kitty. Because I'm hoping that, like, when we get the new victim, whenever that will be, he'll be nice and not mean and territorial to the little babies. So, I don't know. Too much about cats. Sorry about that. But back to therapy. So I went in there with 3 things to talk about. The first thing was Hades. And I told her the same thing I mentioned on here when I did that episode about like how unsettled it feels to be okay with something that happened. And I'm not going to lie, I was still kind of irrationally hoping that she would be able to give me the exact thing that like made this okay for me to process through. Because, because I was like, do you have like statistics, maybe some percentages, even if you had to like guesstimate? But no, the answer is always it's a little bit of everything. You never know exactly what it was, but whatever. But I went in there and I was like, I know it sounds like a weird thing to complain about, and I'm not really trying to complain about it, but I'm just trying to understand, like, why was I not as devastated as I thought I would be? Like, and she just kind of put the obvious into perspective for me and was like, you prepared for this, like, for a while. And which was kind of validating too, because like that one night when Hades had lost all that weight before we took him to the vet, we didn't know what was wrong. And I had spent like hours that night just bawling with no evidence that he was like on his way out of this life. I just had a feeling, and I've been made fun of for my quote feelings, which are just, they're like gut feelings. And my gut's always been right. And I've always trusted it. But, people who don't see evidence of something and they don't understand gut feelings or whatever. They just look at you like you're weird or whatever. Not that like anybody did, but I still always have that whenever I say to anybody, like, well, my gut says, I always just have that immediate like twinge of, ooh, like they're going to think I'm weird, because that's how I've been made to feel. But Tia validated me because I felt something different that night when I was holding him and crying, and it turned out that I was right, that he was on his way out. And she said that I had weeks to kind of process this, and then when it turned out to be true, I'd already kind of been going through the process. And she was like, she was joking too, but kind of serious. She's like, 5 years ago, you did start thinking about the possibility of losing him. So yeah, just therapy has been helpful, working on my emotions and how I deal with them. And I just was telling her that it is so weird to be okay about something, to like accept it, to live with it, and it was the one thing that you didn't think that you would be able to do any of that with. I don't know. I'm not used to feeling like successes in life like that. I don't know if that counts as a success, but I don't know. It's just, I view it as, whoa, this is so unlike me. I need to see what the therapist says about it. And turns out it's just kind of what I thought it would be. But yeah, so that was helpful, processing through that with her. And the other thing I talked to her about is like the whole POTS thing that I figured out. Oopsie, hold on. I don't know what to do about this dry mouth. Probably like actually pay for a better microphone instead of just talking into my phone, but we'll see about that down the road a little bit. But yeah, I talked to her about POTS. I told her like how I had the whisper in my head like I did with autism, and then I finally like did some research, and what is that? If you hear voices, I'm sitting in my room on my I call it a mattress, but don't think to yourself like it's some dirty crackhead mattress, like, or something like in a crack house. Like, well, I shouldn't probably use that reference. It's not like some dirty old like mattress. It's got like sheets on it, blankets. I sit here. It's next to my window. The window has the AC in it, so you can kind of hear outside. I felt the need to explain that. Sorry. But the POTS. Told her about it. Told her that like I definitely identify with it, and good thing she knows exactly what that is. And I just, when I was reading the stuff on POTS, I just kind of got it into my head that this is just something that I have to just deal with, because I've had to deal with this up until this point, but now that I know what it is, I really have to just kind of suffer with it and deal with it, but at least I know. Hey, hello. You want to say something? What you want? Oh, this is Caesar. He's a little anxious. But yeah, it turns out that there are some solutions that can help alleviate some of the symptoms. So like Tia had mentioned that she has some people that take anti-nausea medication. And I was like, well, I had thought about that too, but like when I feel nauseous, it's too late. Like at this point, like I know I'm going to throw up. If like 9 times out of 10, if I'm feeling nauseous, I'm going to throw up. The medication, what is it really going to do for me? And I didn't think about this, but she said that like, cause I told her that I told Alicia, like, I don't think I can mow anymore because you just throw up every time I do. And Tia was like, what if you took like an anti-nausea pill like before you went out to mow, like I don't know, 20 minutes before or whatever, and then you went and did it, like that could actually like stave off the nausea or whatever. I didn't think about that. I didn't know that that's how those work. I thought you just take a pill when you feel nauseous. So I have leftover pills from when I had Sylvester inside me, when I had that hysterectomy major procedure, bowling ball removal at the end of 2022. I still have like a pill or a bottle of the nausea medication. And I have to say this. Well, I'm going to use some until I see the lady doctor in a couple weeks. Is it next week or the week after? And then see if she knows about POTS, so that hopefully I don't have to go immediately to my like primary doctor to like do something about this. Maybe she'll give me some anti-nausea stuff. But I'm gonna go ahead and take those nausea pills ahead of time and see if they do anything to help. And if they do, I'm gonna ask for a prescription. I'm just gonna say, because I feel weird not saying it, don't do this. If you really, I should take this bottle of pills and like dump it down the toilet, or maybe not, maybe dispose of it in a better way, and not take an old script. But that's like the counselor in me. And at this point, like, I don't give a shit. I use Alicia's trazodone, like, whatever. But I have some of those nausea meds. I'm going to take them and see what happens. And I'm so excited that, like, maybe there's some solutions. She also mentioned that some people, like, take estrogen, not even because, like, they had a hysterectomy or going through menopause, but, like, for some women, apparently estrogen pills can help like reduce anxiety, which that's fascinating to me. And Tia's like, I don't quite understand this, but you know, that's more than one person has saying this, that this has happened. So I'm going to ask the doctor if I can have more estrogen. I'm going to see if that's going to help my hot flashes at all. Basically, whatever she recommends, I'll go with, because, you know, doctors usually know what they're talking about. So yeah, that was pretty cool. We talked about like all the passing out I did when I was a kid, all the standing still, and like just keeling over because I can't stand for too long, the nausea I get, the temperature regulation issues I have had for my whole life, the sweating problem. Oh my God, the sweating is ridiculous. That's a part of POTS. Yes, very, very nice chat. And then the last thing was, I talked to her about the fact that I'm pretty positive I'm asexual. Well, yes, I'm positive. I am asexual because I mentioned that Big Mouth episode really kind of filled in the rest of the gaps for me. Oh my God, that's so embarrassing, but it's true. And I told her that too. I was like, I did research on it, but that Big Mouth episode really just kind of sealed the deal for me. I don't know, that's a weird thing to say, but I brought it up because this is the first time I've like talked to her about it, and me and Alicia are still doing like couples therapy with her. So I wanted to just kind of talk about this with her first, instead of when me and Alicia go next time, I drop the bomb. It's not really a bomb, but you know, and then like we spend half the session talking about just me in this issue. Like, I don't want to waste time doing that and make the session about me. So she was helpful with processing through this, and I had told her that like one of my fears is, and I don't think I've said that on here before, but one of my fears is that Alicia might leave me at some point in the future if I can't satisfy this sexual stuff. And it's always a possibility. Like, I would like to think that she wouldn't, but like, I don't know. It's always a possibility. And I don't like disappointing people, and I also don't like being like, you know, rejected or whatever. So I asked Tia if, like, when Alicia and I come in next time together, can she talk about this a little bit more and explain it more to Alicia? Because it's one of those things, like with Alicia, I still don't think she fully understands the autism thing, which, whatever, it's fine. Like, she'll get there when she gets there. And then I've explained this asexuality thing to her, and I have reiterated, this is not you. I am not attracted to you. Like, it has nothing to do with you. You could be anybody. I don't know if that was helpful to say to her or not, but, you know, and I had told Tia, like, I did what everybody else in their 20s does, or I assume they do, is when I would go out clubbing, and sometimes, you know, I'd have like one night stands or whatever, and it seemed like a good idea in the moment, and I don't regret any of them, but like, it never crossed my mind to want to like keep having sex with the same person or on a regular basis or anything like that. That just, I didn't care about that. But like, you know, sometimes when you hear something from a professional, even though you've heard it from other people that are not professionals, it can click. And it's so fucking frustrating because Alicia's like one of those people where she has to hear something from like a therapist for it to really click in her head that like, oh, okay, so this is a real thing that, like, you know, Ange is like talking about and it isn't me. And, you know, I don't know, that's frustrating, but like, I know that's just kind of how people are, because I'm like that too sometimes. I need to hear from the expert. Sorry about the clickety clacking with my dry mouth. So this session was very helpful, and I will try not to do any more therapy episodes unless like it was like, I don't know. Well, I probably will talk about therapies, but like I won't make a whole episode out of like a therapy session. At least I hope I don't. But yeah, like, sorry for sounding like a broken record. If you are on the fence about therapy, go. The worst that's going to happen is you're going to find a quackadoodle. And if you do, leave that quackadoodle in the dust and try out a different therapist, because you will stumble upon one that knows what they're doing, that validates you, that helps you process through really important shit, and doesn't just sit there and ask like, oh, how's that make you feel? Who the fuck still does that anyways? That is so like 1980s and below. I don't know. It's weird. Like I don't know, like I am definitely an advocate for therapy now. I am like, a lot of my perspectives on lots of things have changed because of being in therapy. And all of the stuff I've learned and all the tools I've learned for how to like be introspective and manage emotions and like all kinds of stuff. Like, if I had not been in therapy for the last decade or like, I don't think I would be a very good person right now. I know I wouldn't. I would still be an asshole. I would still just be mean to people for really no reason other than like, I'm miserable. Like, I used to be such a miserable prick to people, and I will always regret that I was like that. But I know for sure I would not be in a good spot mental health wise if I had not gotten myself into therapy. So, and I'm not going to lie, it wasn't easy. Like, the first few years were so difficult because you're just trying to like accept the fact that you're in therapy and work through that stuff, and then get used to like opening up about stuff that like you've kept to yourself for years and years and years because you just don't trust people, you know? So it's not all easy, but the hard work is definitely worth it. And also, I don't think it matters how long somebody's in therapy. You can be in therapy for your entire life. You can like go just like once or twice a year for like a check-in, and that's still super helpful. There's nothing wrong with it. There's no time limit for therapy. It's there for you for whatever you need it for. So if you have the resources, look into getting a therapist. And if you don't, like, there's online stuff that you can check into. And some of it's free. So, like, you're going to be able to find some help in some form from a professional therapist that you won't have to pay for. Or if you do, it'll be, like, next to nothing. So, I don't know. That's all I really have to say. I hope this was relatable. And, I'm just really quick. I have a Substack if you guys want to go over there and just, like, read some stuff. You can subscribe to pay if you want, but, like, you don't have to. You can just read everything for free, but money's nice too. But, like, I'm writing a whole bunch of stuff over there. I have started a Quora, Quora. I don't know. Like, I can't even say it, but I started that yesterday. Because that's been helping me. So, like, I'm over there now too. I'm just kind of living on the internet, y'all. So, like, come find me, come talk to me, come tell me your stories. I really want to hear them. And thank you very much, and goodbye.